And now it's 7. It's a sport they love, but for a big group of rowing students, it's getting harder and harder to navigate the waters of the Oakland estuary because of illegal boats.
If there were only 1 or 2, it really would not be an issue, but now we have a dozen.
I'd love to see them removed.
Why even a new law that's meant to clean up the marina doesn't seem to be helping. And 2 freeway shootings on opposite sides of the bay just hours apart, one of them involving police. Cal Fire is making progress on those lightning spark fires in Gold Country, but why one retired firefighter says that some of the hidden dangers could linger for weeks.
There's always a chance that one of those strikes hits something, and we haven't seen it yet.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening, I'm Devin Feely in for Juliette tonight. We begin with new problems at the Oakland estuary. More illegal boats are setting up shop there, all of that in violation of a new rule that bans anchoring there for more than 12 hours. That ordinance was passed in 2023. It was a response by city leaders to our reporting. At the time, we saw rundown and ramshackle boats and trash, and in one extreme case, thieves even stole a 40-foot yacht, vandalized it, and completely stripped it of its electronic equipment and engine parts. Well, now the problem is resurfacing once again, and Kevin Coe shows us it's some East Bay teenagers who are getting caught right in the middle.
It's 16-year-old Lucas McGowan's 3rd year with Oakland United Rowing.
Rowing is like the only sport that I felt truly at home at.
He and more than 100 fellow Oakland area high schoolers row here in the estuary for 5 to 6 days a week.
Okay, all 4, sit ready, row.
The adrenaline is pumping, everything goes quiet, and you're just going. It feels so nice and unlike anything else.
But going anywhere these days isn't easy for these rowers due to boats illegally anchored in the estuary. Tom Horton is with the East Bay Rowing Club.
So this is our Jack London Aquatic Center boathouse building.
The Jack London Aquatic Center and the waters along the shore are under the jurisdiction of the City of Oakland and the Oakland Police Department. A city ordinance prohibits boats from anchoring here for more than 12 hours because, as the ordinance states, they are, quote, immediate or potential hazards to navigation and the environment. But Tom says the issue is a lack of enforcement.
If there were only 1 or 2, it really would not be an issue, but now we have a dozen. And it varies from week to week. They come and they go, but there are a number of the boats that have been here for months and months. We've had boats that have gotten caught on the anchor lines of the anchored boats. We've had boats that have been blown into and capsized.
The well-being of the rowers is always Heather Kokora's top priority.
So the kids are responsible for taking the launches out, getting everything ready.
She's responsible for more than 125 teenage rowers and has concerns about their safety.
None of what's happening down here is normal. And I think what bothers me the most is how it affects the kids.
While also acknowledging the reality of the situation.
There's a lot of crime that happens out there. There's also people that are out there just trying to do their best. No harm, no foul, but there's others that are also causing troubles.
They use a small boat to row back and forth between the shore. They have dogs on board, they have children on board, and it really is their house. But the problem is that it's a very leaky house.
The problem with a leaky house, it can end up like this.
The boat started to sink, so they paddled it around the corner here and let it sink.
Tom isn't hopeful any action will be taken.
It'll be that way until the winter storms come, and then the boat will start to break up, and all the debris will end up on the shoreline or on the bottom of the estuary.
The hope for Tom, Heather, and Lucas is the city prioritizes the estuary by enforcing a law already in place. But for Lucas, there isn't anything that could stop him from doing what he loves.
I'd love to see them removed, but the sport itself has still been amazing and will continue to be amazing.
The folks we talked to for this story, Tom and Heather, have reached out to the city for help. We also reached out multiple times to the city of Oakland and the Oakland Police Department with no response. We're going to stay on top of this story and bring you updates as they become available. Now to a shooting on Interstate 880 in Oakland that left a driver hurt. All of the southbound lanes were shut down for over an hour this afternoon. Our chopper was over the scene south of the 66th Avenue exit near the Coliseum. Authorities say that they were called to the scene around 2:45 this afternoon. We could see a person being taken out of a white car and loaded into an ambulance on a stretcher. There is still no word on exactly what led up to that shooting, but when you look closely, we saw what appeared to be several bullet holes on the passenger side of the car. The end result for everybody else was a huge backup and a traffic nightmare. All of the southbound lanes, as we mentioned, were shut down. Traffic backed up for miles. Now, all of the lanes eventually reopened around 4:30 this afternoon. Meantime, across the bay, a police shooting in San Francisco forced multiple lanes to close down for several hours on 101. It happened by the Cesar Chavez and Potrero off-ramp. Police say that a man walked onto the freeway carrying what they described as an edged weapon that is typically a knife of some sorts, and that's when the officer shot the man. Later, paramedics took him to the hospital. There is no word on his current condition. Crews are starting to make some progress on the lightning-sparked fires in the Sierra foothills. More than 24 fires broke out during Tuesday's storms. Collectively, they're known as the TCU September Lightning Complex fires. In total, they have burned nearly 14,000 acres, and altogether, the flames are about 15% contained. The fires are burning in Calaveras, Stanislaus, and Tuolumne counties. Two of the biggest fires are forcing evacuations. The 2-7 fire, which is near Angels Camp in Murphys, and the 6-5 fire, which is just south near the historic Gold Rush town of Chinese Camp. It was established in the mid-1800s, and many of its original buildings were still standing until earlier this week. The 6-5 fire decimated the town and a piece of California's history in the process. And even as the smoke starts to clear, firefighters say the threat isn't gone. Katie Nielsen is in the foothills with more on the danger of sleeper fires.
Historic Gold Rush era towns dot along the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, from Jamestown to Columbia, Murphys, and right here in Angels Camp, originally founded in 1848 by gold prospectors, later made famous by author Mark Twain. Now, none of these communities are in direct danger from the fires right now, but with 22 fires that started Tuesday morning, there is a possibility there are fires out there nobody even knows about, called sleeper fires.
Okay, up back here, we're up against the Stanislaus National Forest, 70,000 acres.
For more than 30 years, Glenn Morris and his family have lived here in Arnold, not far from the Rim Trail. His backyard neighbors, 70,000 acres of trees.
We worry all of September and into October until it starts raining again.
As a retired fire captain from Los Altos, he knows the dangers when he hears lightning crackling through the sky like what happened Tuesday morning.
There's always a chance that one of those strikes hit something and we haven't seen it yet.
That's what firefighters call a sleeper fire.
Those holdover lightning strikes that could have struck a tree, and it just hasn't reached the potential that it very well could yet.
She's referring to a small fire started by a cloud-to-ground lightning strike that is smoldering somewhere, inside an oak tree or in a pile of duff. And as the winds pick up and temperatures rise, that could start an entirely new fire no one ever knew about. A real possibility considering the widespread impact of the storms.
A little over 3,500 lightning strikes in this region. That is an extreme amount of lightning strikes.
That's why so many residents in the area are keeping a watchful eye on the hills, looking for a column of smoke or a glow that isn't supposed to be there.
We are pretty vigilant and watching. If I'm out here, then I will start looking to see if I see it.
CAL FIRE experts say sleeper fires generally make themselves known within a few days after the main fire, but sometimes it can take weeks or even months before they're discovered. But everyone is hoping that that is not the case happening here.
The Department of Justice has hit a Southern California utility company with a lawsuit. That lawsuit claims that negligence by Southern California Edison caused tens of millions of dollars in damages. The Department of Justice joined hundreds of fire victims demanding compensation from the utility company. Southern California Edison, however, points out that the cause of the Eaton fire is still officially under investigation, but it will look to make its equipment more fire resistant in the future.
Of course, we're going to continue to track the smoke from those fires, but around the Bay Area today, the big story was the cool, breezy pattern. Temperatures a good 7 or 8 degrees below average inland, meaning only mid to upper 70s for highs in late summer. We'll take that, and we'll see how long it's going to stick around coming up in the First Alert forecast.
And we're learning more about San Francisco's plans to save Muni from financial ruin, and taxpayers may be on the hook. And coral reefs around the world losing their colorful hues because of warming oceans.
It looks like you've taken that animal and dipped it in bleach.
Now, a team of scientists is now working to restore the world's reefs from a lab here in the Bay Area. We're learning more about San Francisco's plans to save community in the midst of a budget crisis. The agency is about $307 million in the hole. One idea that's being considered is a regional transit tax. Another is an additional property tax on San Franciscans. Both have to be approved by voters. According to this map of the Tax Foundation, San Francisco in dark blue already has one of the highest property taxes in the entire country, with property owners paying an average of $10,000 a year. In tonight's Project Earth, coral reefs protect our coastlines, they support local tourism, and provide a home to a third of the ocean's biodiversity. But as our planet warms, rising sea temperatures are harming these creatures and imperiling reefs around the world. But now Bay Area scientists are giving these reefs a fighting chance. And Makovic reports.
Inside the Steinhardt Aquarium at the California Academy of Sciences, feast your eyes on the deepest display of living coral in the world. Nikki Tyson and her partner Carlin are enchanted.
I love it. We've just been sitting here just appreciating the beauty of it, just in silence for the last few minutes.
But worldwide, it's another story. Many of these vibrantly colored colonies of tiny creatures have now turned ghostly white.
It literally looks like you've taken that animal and dipped it in bleach.
It's called coral bleaching. A major culprit is climate change. Dr. Rebecca Albright with the Academy explains.
Because of climate change, the water's warming up, it's getting hotter, and that's stressing out these organisms.
84% of all coral reefs, the most biodiverse ecosystems in the oceans, are now impacted. When stressed by heat, the coral starves, becomes susceptible to disease, and eventually dies.
If we lose coral reefs, we lose about 30% of all life in oceans. So these are baby corals. You can see the little kind of green fluorescent dots are corals that are about 8 months old.
Dr. Albright is the founder of the Coral Regeneration Lab at the Academy. It's the first in the U.S. to successfully spawn coral. The goal, to regenerate the reefs.
So we're particularly focused on sexual reproduction in corals because that's the way that we get new genetic diversity and new opportunities for survival.
Including some tolerant to heat. The scientists adopted techniques to trigger spawning. That is when a colony releases tiny packets of eggs and sperm. The lab is a master at creating baby coral.
And the Mesoamerican reef is the second largest barrier reef in the world.
Now the California team has brought their expertise into the wild. In partnership with the Roatan Marine Park in Honduras, they've built the first coral rearing facility in Central America. The hope is to restore Roatan's damaged reefs. Armed with test tubes, the scientists quickly dove into the water and collected the tiny packets. Once back on land, the eggs were fertilized, incubated, and then brought back into the wild.
And then we outplanted over 3,000 baby corals back to the reefs.
The baby corals are now 2 months old. The Roatan staff will dive in a few months to see how many survived. For Albright, it's a labor of love.
These are ecosystems that captured my heart at a very young age. I'm a mom. I want my kids to be able to go see them.
As for Nikki and Carlin,
it's palpable that it's alive and that it's supporting all of this life.
All this life now getting a fighting chance.
And we're joined now by Chief Meteorologist Paul Hagen. So we're having a bit of a cool down.
Yeah, it was nice today. Away from the water is still nice near the water, and now the fog is on the move already before the sun goes down. So let's take a look outside from Salesforce Tower and see what we can see. And the short version is not much. The Bay Bridge is in there. This is the Salesforce Tower looking to the east. That low cloud cover and fog is going to continue spreading out as we head through the rest of tonight. The cool and breezy pattern is going to continue tomorrow through the weekend and into early next week. Some haze on the horizon, courtesy of the smoke from various wildfires burning not only in the state but around the region. But we're also tracking a chance of showers by the middle of next week. Believe it or not, mid-September, not something we ordinarily talk about. Switching perspectives, beautiful view here from the top of Mount Diablo, and there is just a little haze, but not bad yet. Temperatures are in the 60s across the board, and the sun isn't even down yet. 62 degrees in San Francisco to just short of 70 degrees in Concord, but already windows open weather even for far inland parts of the Bay Area. Those numbers will dip down to the 50s across the region tomorrow. But let's talk more about that smoke being generated by fires burning across the region. We'll turn on the smoke simulation from one of the forecast models, and you can see there's all sorts of it over the western U.S. Some of it from our north has been blown out over the Pacific by the storm system that sparked the lightning that resulted in the new fires, but it also kind of swirled the atmosphere around to our north, sent that smoke out over the Pacific, and now it's arcing back around and is going to try to sneak into our skies over the next couple of days. But some haze on the horizon, likely the worst thing that we are going to see as we head through the next couple of days. I don't think our air quality is going to get any worse than the moderate category. But let's switch over to the local map and turn on that same smoke simulation so you can see what we're talking about. And a little bit of gray here and there. That's the least worrisome color on the palette, and that's what we're going to be seeing is occasionally a few yellow dots on the air quality map. It's not going to be a big cause for concern. Let's track the fog as we head through the rest of tonight. That is going to be much more widespread, covering up most of the Bay Area by early tomorrow morning. Once the sun comes up, that fog is going to start to retreat out of the inland valleys, and it pulls back to the coast as we head towards lunchtime tomorrow. Temperatures are going to be still a few degrees below what's normal for this time of year. So inland, it's going to be a mix of 70s and 80s by Friday afternoon. Not bad at all. High temperatures in the Santa Clara Valley, reaching up to the upper 70s in San Jose. That's a full 4 degrees below normal, but still into the low 80s for Los Gatos. East of the Oakland Hills, low to mid 80s. That's it. The hot spots around the Bay Area only climbing up to the mid 80s. All 70s around the Bay, even short of 70 degrees in San Francisco, with temperatures at the coast pretty close to normal, mid to upper 60s there. And then mostly 70s for the North Bay until you get up to around Santa Rosa, climbing up to near 80 degrees and all the way up to 86 degrees in Healdsburg by tomorrow afternoon, which will be one of the hot spots on the map for Friday afternoon. It's not that hot for late summer. Let's talk about the long-range pattern, and the onshore breeze is definitely going to continue. That's part of what's kind of sending that little bit of haze towards us, but it's also keeping the ground level smoke from being an issue. About 25 to 30 mile an hour gusts for the next couple of days, and temperatures are going to continue to run on the cool side until we get beyond the scope of the 7-day forecast. San Jose's temperatures don't really warm up till the second weekend in September, and the coolest days, Tuesday and Wednesday, that overlaps with that next chance of showers is going to be trying to head our way. It's still pretty low on the rain chart, but there is a chance. So we'll keep you updated on it as we head through the next several days. 7-day forecast inland. We're going to be bold and put a couple of raindrops in the forecast tube for Wednesday of next week. If we do get some rain, it's not likely to amount to much more than a trace, unless you're far north in the North Bay. That's where you have likely the best chance of picking up a few hundredths of an inch of moisture if that storm system even delivers. The odds go up as you go into Northern California and Oregon. Bayside temperatures stay in the low to mid 70s on a day-by-day basis, with that morning fog giving way to afternoon sunshine. At the coast, there are going to be a couple of days, especially Saturday and Sunday, the weekend, where we are going to see a bit more sunshine glimmering through the clouds. Otherwise, you're going to see plenty of fog like we are seeing this evening. Devin?
All right, thank you, Paul. Coming up in tonight's Red and Gold report, the Niners gave one of their wide receivers a little incentive to get back on the field for the season opener. And still ahead, Mark Zuckerberg is suing Meta over suspended Facebook accounts. What? Details ahead. Welcome back. Christian McCaffrey was limited in practice today with a calf issue, but another one of the team's top weapons is fully healthy and ready to go. Matt Lively has the latest in tonight's Red and Gold report.
This is the Audi Red and Gold report.
Jauan Jennings is going to play Sunday in Seattle after missing most of camp with a calf injury, but that's not the only reason he's excited to hit the field.
I love money. You love money? I love money.
Jennings didn't get the new long-term deal he was seeking for, but the team did add an extra $3 million to his contract for the season. So having a happy third in Jauan back in the mix is a huge boost for the 49ers offense.
Hey, just all the feels, just to be out there with your dogs going out on a hunt together, man, it just feels great.
Just happy to have Jauan back in the huddle. Like, you build friendships, you build chemistry with guys that you go through with. Excuse my language, we're already back, dang it.
I'm Matt Lively with the Red and Gold report.
And up next, Meta is getting sued by Mark Zuckerberg. We'll explain after the break. A bankruptcy attorney is suing Meta, the parent company of Facebook. His name is Mark Zuckerberg, just like the company's founder. And because of that, he says his Facebook pages keep getting suspended, which is hurting his business.
It's like buying a billboard on the side of the highway, paying the people for the billboard, and then they come and put a giant blanket over it. And you don't get the benefit of what you paid for. It's not fair. It's not right. They need to stop.
Mark S. Zuckerberg says that Facebook accuses him of impersonating a celebrity. His accounts are back on for now, but he says his business account was shut down 5 times in the last 8 years, his personal account 4 times. The lawsuit asks Meta to keep his accounts active and pay for attorney's fees and lost ad money. In a statement, the company says that they are working to keep this from happening again. Well, thank you for watching. You can catch the rest of the Valkyries game on PIX Plus on 44, Cable 12. We'll see you back here at 11.